What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Full 90. It is time for La Liga Week 8 predictions. Real quick, at the time of recording, Valencia haven't yet played Real Oviedo because their game got postponed today due to heavy rain. I do think Valencia win that, and if Valencia do win, that sees us get 7 out of 10 correct tips on the last episode with some really high value in there. We had both teams to score an under 3.5 goals for Celta Vigo again, and it came in again at odds of above 3. So another profitable episode for the Full 90. Real quick, flashing up on the screen are all of the people that are supporting us over on the Patreon. If you want to get involved with that, including exclusive members tips and accumulators, access to the group chat, you can message me directly, which is something you can't do on YouTube, and of course you get a shout out in every single video. If that's something you'd be interested in, then click that link in the description below. But with that being said, let's get started with La Liga. And if we scroll up to my predictions here, we start with Osasuna up against Getafe. Now, I mean, just looking at the form, Osasuna are due a win, and Getafe, I think, they're due a loss. They've had a really good start to the season, winning 3 of their first 4 games, but they haven't won in their last 3, Barcelona, Alaves, and Levante. So I think Osasuna are going to win this one, but I think it's going to be very, very low scoring. Osasuna lost out to Betis there. They drew with Elche there. They lost to Villarreal there, but I think they bounced back at home here 1-0. I'm not brave enough to go for this, but I do think under 2.5 goals is a tip I'd consider, but with Getafe games, under 2.5 goals is rarely high odds, so I'm going to combine Osasuna double chance and under 2.5 goals at odds of 1.7. So that's a 1-0, a 2-0 to Osasuna, or a 1-1 and a 0-0 draw. So it's very handy that it keeps those on side. I don't think it'll be high scoring, and I think Osasuna can get the win. After this, it is Real Oviedo up against Levante. Now, Oviedo will have multiple days less rest. As I said, they're playing Valencia tonight, so we don't have that on here at the moment. I think Oviedo will take an L against Valencia, and if they do, they've got only that win against Sociedad to shout about with a lot of other losses, but they've had a tough run of fixtures. I mean, they've already played the best 3 teams at the moment on form in in La Liga, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Villarreal. So I think they can bounce back and get a point here. I think it's going to be high scoring. They are favourites. I thought about going Oviedo to win, but I'm just going to go for a 2-2 draw. And the tip, I really, really like the odds of both teams to score at 1.95. Speaking of odds, by the way, I think this odds here are really good too. We've got winless Girona up against Valencia. Valencia, the outsiders here, even though, as I said, Girona haven't won a game yet. So maybe Valencia double chance could be considered. Maybe you could consider that with a tip here. Valencia have only lost 2 games this season to Barcelona and then Osasuna. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw here, but the tip is both teams to score at 1.75. But if you're feeling brave, possibly Valencia double chance and both teams to score, that'll get you odds of way above 2, because obviously that implies it has to be at least 1-1, and Valencia are the underdogs in this fixture. Surprising to me, Girona bottom of the league with Real Oviedo winless this season. After this, it is Athletic Bilbao up against Mallorca. Now, Bilbao, I believe, travelled to Dortmund in the Champions League, and Mallorca, we predicted them to get their first win last week against Alaves, and they did, 1-0. So that's a great result for Mallorca, but Bilbao haven't won in a while, and they need to bounce back and get a win. So I'm going to say they do get it. 2-1. The tip is Athletic Bilbao to win at 1.5. The odds are not very good, but honestly, it's difficult to predict when they're such heavy favourites, but they're in such bad form. But then, of course, Mallorca did only just get their first win of the season, so I think Bilbao can bounce back. They had such a great start here, beating Vallecano, Sevilla, and Betis. That's a really good run. But ever since European football has started, they've kind of fallen off the edge of a cliff, really. I'm going to say they bounce back to winning ways in Bilbao and get the 2-1 win against Mallorca. After this, game of the week has to be, it's Real Madrid up against Villarreal. 1-0 there for Madrid, losing to Atletico Madrid, and 1-0 for Villarreal, also losing to Atletico Madrid, who, by the way, were not winning any games until they played Villarreal and then Real Madrid. So quite interesting how these two teams sort of remedied Atletico Madrid pushing up the table. This is going to be an absolute cracker of a game. I'm going to go for a 3-2 win to Real Madrid. The odds for Real Madrid to win are so low, but Villarreal are going to score. So if you think Real Madrid are going to win, you have to go for what is my tip, Real Madrid to win and both teams to score. The odds are 2.6. I don't think Madrid win this to 0. I could even see Villarreal getting a point here, but you've got to go with the home favourites here in Real Madrid. I'm going to go 3-2. After this, we have Alaves up against Elche. Elche undefeated this season. Phenomenal. The only team left in La Liga, along with Barcelona, who haven't lost a game yet. Alaves, strong favourites at home here, but I don't see it. Elche underdogs. I'm going to go for an underdog win. 1-0. I mean, if we go win, draw, win, draw, win, draw like they have done, and we go loss, draw like Alaves has done in the last 3, this would be a 0-0 or a 1-1 or something, and that could very much happen. But my tip either way is going to be Elche double chance and under 3.5 goals at 1.75. The reason the odds are so high is because Elche double chance is quite high, because the under 3.5 goals is like 1.1. Alaves games are always low scoring. We've got 1-0, 1-1, 2-1 there. It's quite high actually. 1-0, 1-1, 1-0, 2-1. It's never 4 or more goals, but that's what we're saying. Under 3.5 goals, like it has been for every Alaves game this season, and obviously Elche not to lose. And if you look here as well, all of these, so out of 6 of 7 of Elche's games this season have been them not to lose and under 3.5, just the 2-2 draw that went over. And Alaves, other than these 2 wins, all their other games were a loss or a draw and under 3.5. So I really like Elche double chance and under 3.5 goals at 1.75. After this, it's another great game. It's Sevilla against Barcelona. This one could be mental. This could be like a 3-6. I'm going to dial it down and go for a 3-1 win to Barcelona. And the odds here, not very good. And I do think Sevilla are capable of scoring. Just getting the win against Vallecano there. They lost to Villareal, but they did score. And they, of course, beat Alaves 2. They drew with Elche, scored 2. And they scored 2 against Girona. So Sevilla are scoring goals. And we can just ignore the start of the season. But even there, they were still scoring goals. So Sevilla score in every game. Barcelona quite often do concede, especially when the opposition is a little bit better. And Sevilla, in my opinion, falls under that category. So the tip is Barcelona to win and both teams to score at odds of 2.5. After this, it is Espanyol up against Real Betis. 2 teams with pretty much an identical start to the season. Only difference being is that Betis are on better form. Espanyol are the home side, so the temptation could be to go for a draw. I am going to go for Real Betis to win, and the tip is going to be Real Betis draw no bet at odds of 1.83. The odds here are close enough that draw no bet for either side is 1.83, and I think Betis are a better team, so you've got to shade them. They're a better team in better form, and I think that does do just enough to cancel out the home form for Espanyol. After this, we have Real Sociedad up against Rayo Vallecano. 1 win for Vallecano on the opening day against Girona. 1 win for Sociedad against Mallorca. I think Sociedad get their 2nd win of the season in a bid to kind of leapfrog a few teams in the table. I'm going to go for 2-1 to Real Sociedad. I thought about Sociedad to win at odds of evens, but I think the odds of both teams to score at 1.95 is a little bit more appealing because it keeps that 1-1 draw on side, or even a Vallecano win and both teams to score if that shock were to happen. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 to Sociedad and both teams to score as the tip. And the final game, it is the ever reliable Celta Vigo against Atletico Madrid. Celta Vigo losing 2-0 to Getafe, 2-1 to Elche, and drawing 1-1 every single game in between. Atletico Madrid winless in their first 3, but since then beating Villarreal, drawing with Mallorca, beating Vallecano and Real Madrid in very high scoring games. I think Celta Vigo score again. They always seem to score 1, and Atletico Madrid score 2. I thought about Atletico Madrid to win and both teams to score, but unlike Barcelona and Real Madrid's odds, I like the odds of Atletico Madrid to win at 1.75, enough to the point where I don't feel like I have to boost up the odds. So that is going to be my tip, Atletico Madrid to win. So there's a summary of my picks. Shock, I have games featuring Getafe and Alaves going under 1.5 goals, and obviously BTTS no. I suppose a bit of a shock, Elche to win against the odds. That's my highest underdog victory of the video. I think Real Betis underdogs away at Espanyol will be a good pick, but naturally I think it would always be a pretty safe shout to say Real Madrid and Barcelona win as well. But if you want a nice little double that will fetch you odds of about 5 or 6 to 1, Real Madrid and Barcelona both to win with both teams scoring, I think that is a really good look. But nevertheless, that is going to do it for my La Liga predictions. If you did enjoy this video, please do drop a like. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the Premier League predictions tomorrow and any other videos I make, if any, over the international break, and then when we return with more football after that. So thank you so much for watching. Drop a like, and I'll see you in the next video very soon.